5 most common sexual fantasies of women. Now, guys, this is more important than you would think, because this isn't about uh, dating or getting together with women. This is about self-preservation. This is about protecting yourself. Because I'm letting you know ahead of time that there are real consequences if you don't know what's going on. Okay. Now, this woman, what's her name? Sarah Dawn Moore. She's going to talk about sexual fantasies of women, and she's going to mix truth with untruth. Because part of the protection is the protection of your mental health. Gaslighting damages a man's mental health. So we have to get right to the truth. Now, here's what I'm talking about here.
Other times. We're often just embarrassed or we feel shame for sharing our deepest, darkest fantasies, but
No. This is a lie. This is a lie. They aren't embarrassed. What it is they don't want men to know. They can't gaslight us if they're honest about what their real intentions and desires are.
that's why 50 Shades of Grey blew it out of the park with revenue. It was like someone
Also, they can't demonize men when their sexual fantasies are just as perverse, actually more perverse than ours.
reached into a woman's most inner dark secrets and exposed it for all the world to see. So after looking over a lot of articles and research and asking friends, these were the top fantasies that women want the most in the bedroom. So obviously this list is not inclusive or exclusive, but it's a glimpse into the most common ones. And maybe this will help open up the conversation with you and your spouse.
Yeah, your spouse, right. Your spouse would be crazy to deal with these. And I'll show you why later, but anyway.
Or just for you to know in the back of your head where most women stand in regards to their preferences and their fantasies. All right, so the first one that kept coming up over and over again was being dominated. Nearly 65% of women.
Exactly. So in other words, the man has to do all the work. She gets to be passive and he does all the labor and she feels like she's special. A man dominating woman is essentially saying, you are important to me. That's what it is.
Fantasize about being dominated sexually, according to a survey of more than 1,000 women that was published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine. BDSM is alluring. It's a community because one.
And you know what? It's one of the biggest fetishes out there. It's the most common fetish. And the reason why it's the most common fetish is because women love BDSM. It's woman dominated. And because it's woman dominated, it's widely accepted. At worst, people will say, well, that's kind of freaky, but no one goes out of their way to stop BDSM, do they? Do they, guys? Why? Because women love it. Now, this is what I'm talking about, self-preservation. You've probably never heard of Gian Gomeshi, but this is important to me because he was a radio star of the CBC. And so I, being Canadian, would hear his voice for years and years, right? And guess what? He engaged in the BDSM. And one of these women who were, participants, willing participants, decided that she would have fun taking this guy down and turned on him and lied about it, right? And look what it says here. It was legally ill-founded claim, but it would have also had the impact. This is Gomeshi actually defending himself in court. But it would have had the impact of scaring off potential complainants who might be intimidated by Gomeshi's aggressive litigation. Not to mention the prospect of being outed, truthfully or not, in his versions of events as willing BDSM participants. So these women were willing, and they did want to be outed for the sexual deviants they were. And the reason this lie was told is because, trust me, this was a lie. It was told because women, we know by now, have fun destroying men. The higher the status, the more enjoyment it is. They direct his career. He never recovered, ever. He'll never be the star he once was. So this man was willing to involve himself in these fetishes with willing participants, and they turned on him. I want you to know that. These women who involve themselves, they're perfectly safe. But the men, if you involve yourself in these, it could come home to roost on you.
One partner relinquishes all sense of control, right? They're submissive to the person that is kind of touching them and controlling them, but subconsciously they give themselves permission. So she feels like she doesn't really have to hold back.
Well, they're not really being dominated then, are they? If they're giving themselves permission, they're not really being dominated. So
See a lot of powerhouse women talk about this as well, but a lot of times we talk about it with each other. It doesn't actually imply.
if you talk about it with each other, then there is no fear of being outed, is there? When they say outed, they mean outed to the male population. They want to keep us guys, blinded to this because they want to attack us. They want to say whatever men like, that's pervert. And we are little angels that never engage in weird sex. That's what this is about.
That we are weak or that your partner is superior to you. Fantasies involving power plays may actually speak to the desire of relinquishing control because it's the opposite of what typically a woman has to be in today's society.
No, she doesn't have to be anything in society. See, I told you guys, these women always put lies in with the truth. The women of the past had just as much control as they do now.
Against societal norms and going against the normal roles that most women play. And that's
No, it doesn't go against societal roles. High status men are what they're after. These men have to be dominant in their field before the women select them. The women are always dominant.
Why it's called fantasy. Okay, so the next one is having a threesome or bringing another woman into the bedroom.
Now, I'm going to tell you something, guys. If I had a girlfriend who wanted a threesome, even though I like the idea of having multiple women, I would only trust her if she wanted another man. Because if a woman wants another woman there, what she's admitting is she's turned on by other women. And that you're just being used as the go-boy. She's with you because you supply her with the lifestyle she wants, but she's interested in sex with other women. That's what it's about. You have to have zero self-respect to involve yourself in that. If a woman wanted a threesome with me with another woman, I would get rid of her. Go be a lesbian on your own time.
89% of 4,000 Americans surveyed by social psychologist Justin Miller for his book said that they admitted fantasizing about having a threesome with other people. Fantasies of being kind of the center of attention and desired by...
This one talking about truth and lies. She just told an actual truth there. They're the center of attention. The world revolves around them. That's the real motivation, right? That and what I mentioned is she's probably turned on by other women. More so than you.
By large groups of people, maybe about the longing to be seen and valued as a person of worth or importance, or
not a person of worth, of just importance. Women are already seen as worthwhile. Men chase after women constantly. They already feel like they have self-worth, right?
or part of something much larger than the individual self. This could be why around 57% of women actually fantasize about having sex with more than 3 people at a time.
57, oh wow, so at least half women are into orgies. Thank you.
And this is according to the Journal of Sexual Medicine. This is really more about laying back and being completely taken care of and or adored by other people.
Thank you again. This is admitting this is the narcissism of women. Being taken care of and being adored. And by the way, guys, that's why anime harem, are so popular with guys, because men want that too, right?
People.
But we'll be considered losers if we watch harem anime, right?
All right, so number 3 is public sexual encounters.
This isn't as important. Doesn't matter. Has nothing to do with what we want.
All right, so the next one is having sex with total strangers. Nearly 50% of women reported that
Translation, women want to use men for sex. Okay?
they fantasize about having sex with an unknown person. A lot of this research was taken.
Yeah, the woman doesn't want intimacy with a man. She just wants to get off and leave. That's what this is about. Women are the ones that use men for sex, not the other way around.
From the Journal of Sexual Medicine, just so that you guys can reference. And what they stated was that the more impersonal nature of a stranger fantasy may also indicate that you're trying to detach from yourself, from something that has nothing to do with your...
No, nothing. They're not trying to detach from themselves. They're just using men for sex. That's it. They're randy and they want to bang a guy and they don't want any clingy attachment. That's what it is. That's what women call men clingy when they want to be like partners with them. He said, no, I found you sexually attractive. I wanted to bang you and that's it. Now get lost. Your money's on the dresser.
A relationship or the caretaking that comes from being in a relationship.
Exactly, the caretaking. They don't want to care for these men. They don't want men's intimacy. What they want is just to be able to use men for sex, period. So everything that women claim about men is projection of their behavior onto us, okay?
Oftentimes, sex with a stranger is about what the person represents rather than who they are. So women might...
Exactly. It doesn't matter who we are. Women don't give a shit about who we are as people. Thank you.
fantasize about having sex with the president, the most powerful man in the world. That just says something about her, that she's, hot shit and can pull a powerful man.
Yeah, exactly. Even, you see that, guys? Even men of high status are just used people to women. It's not the man, it's his status that they want.
I know that men often sometimes fantasize about having sex with supermodels.
Okay, this is false equivalence, right? When guys want sex with supermodels, what's going on is two things. One, she's beautiful. He's basically saying, I have sex with a beautiful woman. And the only thing, it's not that she's famous so much as her fame allows you to brag to the other guy. In other words, if I come up to you and say, oh, I had sex with this gorgeous woman, you can't picture her, can you? Right? You'll say, yeah, that's good to hear. But if you said, hey, I've had sex with that gorgeous woman we see down at the bar, and he knows who I'm talking about, then he goes, oh, yes, she's hot, man. I'd love to bang her. You see? So it's not about her being famous or high status. It's about her being visual. That is, you can visualize her. See? You don't have to be famous. You just have to know her in common, right?
As well, again, these are all things that we do that can potentially be normal and natural. We have to remove the shame from it. Another thing that I was reading about was that actually this kind of goes...
You women have zero shame. You talk to one another honestly all the time. You just don't want us guys finding out.
Goes hand in hand with this concept, but 66% of women fantasize about having sex with acquaintances.
That's right. 2 out of 3 women, they want to bang other guys. That's right. They want sexual versatility, just like us guys do, right? They want variety, yeah, duh.
Like your friend's husband or a smoking hot neighbor. Fantasizing about
Your friend's husband, also something she's not adding, is that it's a way to piss off your partner, your friend, that is. You're angry with your girlfriend, you say, I'll just bang your husband and say, look, I can take him anytime I want. The man doesn't matter. Her girlfriend does. Remember, in all these sexual encounters, guys, we don't matter.
someone you know happens because they typically regularly show up in your life, and it's about novelty and mystery and curiosity and imagine.
It's just about novelty. There's no curiosity there. It's just novelty. Women want sexual variety. Yeah. See that's what I'm talking about. To try and make it sound good, they mix lies in with the truth.
Which are all hallmarks that lead to really intense desire.
And again, I have nothing against women wanting sexual variety. As a man, I want sexual variety. What it is they lie about it. So they can then demonize men and say, we're not like you guys. Remember, they don't want to be seen as the hypocrites that they are.
And lastly, a woman will fantasize about mixing pain with pleasure. Again, all the way back to 50 Shades of Grey, 65% of women.
And you see, this is what I'm talking about. You don't have to go further into this, because that's why I brought up Gian Gomeshi. He was into BDSM. He got willing women who wanted to mix pain with pleasure, and what they do, they lied about it later and said that he abused them and got him fired. And they did it because they were flexing their muscles. They were saying, yep, this man doesn't mean anything. I don't know his humanity. Don't want to know him as a human being. He was servicing me in the BDS community, and now I'm bored. I'm going to destroy his career. And that's exactly what they did. So that's why this is why this last fantasy is important. Don't fall for the trap, right? You've got to be prepared that these women, including the one speaking, will turn on you at any moment in their lifetime, any moment. And they have all the power, all the societal power. They have the legal system backing them. They have the person on the street willing to turn on you. So this is why it's absolutely important we know for a fact what's in women's heads. We have to expose them for their hypocrisy and their, their projection. They don't see us as human beings. And then part of that lack of empathy is then gaslighting us and attacking us with how they behave. Right? Men worship women. Men adore women and want intimacy with them and go out of their way. And then these people turn on us. So this is what this video is about. Remember it. Okay, goodbye.